Welcome, everybody, to a special edition of Dispatch Radio. We're going to be taking a deep dive into a race that's near and dear to our hearts here at Dispatch Radio, the Dirty 30 out in Golden, Colorado. Race director Megan Fennessy puts on quite a show. This year, a number of our team is going to be out there running, including myself. I'm taking my second crack at this race because I broke my toe about 5 days before last year's race. I wasn't able to run in it, but I was able to cover it for you to give an idea of what these ultra marathons are all about. Along the way, we check in with fellow dispatcher Nick Bronya, who was going for his first ultra marathon. We talk with some of the staff and volunteers that make up a race like this. And we talk to some of the racers out in the elements this last year during what was a especially hot and exciting race. We had some top runners from around the country literally competing for the record on the course. We had lots of great local runners. And yes, we had some blood. So let's dive in.
Backcountry Colorado, hiking, backpacking.
I did a lot of marathons. I was convinced to do some ultras.
Climbing, and I do filming and photography.
I just like the ultras because I love the community. I just think that everybody is so nice, whether they're the first place finishers or, you know, us that kind of mosey along.
So I signed up for this race. Actually, a group of us are going to do it from Dispatch Radio. We've got, I think, 7 people that are, or at least 7 people that I've roped into doing it this year. Basically, the pitch is super fun race, party at the end, really hard race so you feel very accomplished. And it's like, you know, less than an hour from our home.
Oh, we're ice bath and beer. Ice bath with a beer.
You find out about the big party. You're sold on, you know, there's going to be a jam band. So you get really excited and you sign up for these things. And then you kind of dig into the details and you're like, oh, wow, I just got myself into something really interesting. Here's the race director, Megan Fennessy, describing part of the course.
Black Bear is a 2.7-mile technical adventure. You start off with a 300-foot climb in less than a half mile, and then a traverse. The trail seems to disappear as you're scrambling up and down the big rocks. Over the next 2 miles, you will descend 1,100 feet. This section is technical. Travel at a comfortable speed, keep your eyes ahead, and pick up your feet. No diggers.
In fact, it's the equivalent of running up the Empire State Building 6 times is how much elevation you get over 30 miles on this thing. The difference between an ultra marathon and a marathon is distance. So anything over 26 miles is going to be technically classified as an ultra marathon. And so for the Dirty 30, the 30 means miles. So it's a 30-mile race, which is on the kind of shorter end of the spectrum. They go up to 200 miles now. There's even some races that are getting even beyond that.
It's not a road race by no means.
Yeah.
Nothing like a road race. You're in the mountains. You're at 9,000 feet. Yeah. It's grueling.
So the 2017 race is June 3rd, and it takes place at the Golden Gate Canyon State Park, so just outside of Golden, Colorado, and it's just south of Estes Park. It's kind of like the Estes Park that doesn't get touched by a whole bunch of tourists.
We're looking at miles and miles of single track going up steep elevation gains. With a beautiful blue sky overhead, we've got flowers in the fields. There's been some wildlife spottings.
This race in particular is kind of near and dear to the local ultra running community for a couple of reasons.
Suffering.
Yeah.
Pure, uncut suffering.
Well, the people. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited. It's a great event. Helps Gilpin County School.
The course is,
Yeah.
I mean,
It's good,
it's
huh?
awesome.
Oh, nice.
It's a really amazing course.
Absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
It would take just like a normal person, you know, 10 hours to do it. You know, in this race, if you do it in under 6, you get a hat that says you're a badass. So it's like, you know, you're out there running all day long.
I've only ran marathons before, other than like a 15-mile trail run, so it's definitely different.
It's been harder than what I expected. I've been training at sea level with very little.
In Israel?
Yep, very little elevation gain. And I'm paying the price now.
And so when you're running on a tough terrain like that, you also get a lot of blood with these types of events.
Yeah, there's been a couple skin knees. Nobody complaining though, nobody limping. So it's it's the nature of the beast. So it's the downhill stuff. People are gonna lose some skin here and there.
Megan gives an award out every year for the person with the best blood. This year I actually ran into the lady who won that award right after she biffed it.
He's right there.
I just want to finish.
Okay.
Okay.
Just to cover up your knee for now.
Well, I got pretty deep in there.
Okay. Just come over here for a second.
Okay.
You want to sit, Jen? You
I don't know if I sit, I'm not going to give up.
Okay.
All right. Do you think your compression bandage will hold it in all right? It's pretty deep.
Yeah, you don't even really need.
It's 1.8 miles to the finish, right?
Is it?
Yeah. Did you just do it?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
I know. It's feeling so good. Most accidents happen within a mile of home, right?
What's your name?
I'm Jen.
Hey, Jen.
Guys.
Good luck.
Thanks a
Have
million.
Race. Okay.
Oh, God, that hurts so good.
At that same aid station, there was another kind of front of the packer, a guy that had elite written on the front of his jersey.
Oh, man.
He wasn't looking so good either.
Man, I know the last bit. I'm having trouble thinking and talking, so I think take a break.
Yeah. And feel your pulse real quick.
Hand's been tingly for like the last half an hour.
Yeah, feels like you're pretty dehydrated right now, so just take a load out for a minute and get you back out there.
But the cool thing about ultra runners is they do know how to eat, like because they burn all these calories. When you go to these kind of aid stations that are like maybe every 5 to 6 miles, they stop and they get a really nice spread.
We have
cookies.
lots of cookies and Big Newton's chips. We have gels, chocolate, pickles, bananas,
Little M&M things.
watermelon. These are cheese rolls, cheese and avocado, and peanut butter jelly. This is ginger ale or Canada Dry.
7-Up and Coca-Cola.
You run into all types of people who are out there helping make something like this happen. It's all the infrastructure kind of behind it, the volunteers, the staff, and everybody who shows up to help cheer people on.
My name is Mark Bachman. I'm with Race Right Timing, and we're doing the timing for the race.
We're radio operators, and we're amateur radio guys. And we basically, when there's a problem, like an incident or something with medical, then we call in for help and get someone over here to help whoever.
I'm Gina Lucrezi.
Yeah?
Yeah, I work with athletes and do some event work for Ultimate Direction. So, hey, you gotta take your turn and help do other things. It's not always just about racing.
My name's Dusty. I'm just distributing Boulder beer to the runners who come in and the volunteers who are willing to donate their time. I'm anticipating that I'm going to be very popular today.
We're volunteers from the school.
Oh, right on.
The Dirty 30 donates to our athletic fund
Yeah,
because we come help.
Great.
And
So you're one of
without
our
it,
sponsors.
without it,
Yeah.
we probably wouldn't have an athletic school.
Volunteer for basketball.
To your school, to your
Yeah.
basketball team, and some of the proceeds from the race go to your school.
I think each team makes about $500.
Yeah, sweet. Has anybody ever attempted to run 30 miles before?
No.
Does anybody think they'll ever attempt to run 30 miles?
No. I can't even walk upstairs, so.
So what do you guys think of these people that do this stuff?
Good for them. They're absolutely impressive and inspiring, and
Yeah.
they're really passionate about running.
But maybe a little crazy, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
There are a lot of first-time ultra runners that do it. They say, you know what, for my first race, I want to do something really hard, particularly among first-time ultra runners, who aren't used to this, really technical terrain. It can be quite an awakening.
I'm waiting for my husband, David.
Yeah.
He hopefully will be coming in the next 30 minutes or so.
Oh, right on. And is this his first 30-30?
His first 30-30, so he's a Susu.
Oh, he's a Suzu, that's right. So it's his first ever ultra marathon.
Yes.
And do you understand how crazy it is to pick this as your first ultra
Yep,
marathon?
but he turned 30 this year, so he wanted a race to really challenge himself, and this is it. I've seen him recently.
Sisu is a Finnish word that means intestinal fortitude. It's what Megan calls the people that are crazy enough to try the Dirty 30 for their first ultra marathon.
And actually, one of our dispatch radio crew, Nick Brunia, was another guy that was trying to be a Sisu. He talked to us a little bit about his motivation before race day.
2015 was a really rough year for me as far as physical and emotional health go. Overall, I was in a bad place for most of the year. I ended up finding out about the Dirty 30 sometime last year. I don't really remember when. But for some reason, I ended up feeling really drawn to it. Probably because it was local and that kind of took the edge off and gave me the confidence to actually consider running an ultra. But for me, I mean, a 50K was at the edge of impossible, but I knew that if I focused on it, I could achieve, if nothing else, a finish. The biggest thing was when I signed up for it, I got really public with all my friends and family and made sure that they knew that I had committed to running my 50K because they would hold me honest and make me be accountable. And that really made sure that I stuck to my training plan and made sure that I didn't disappoint anybody who was out there rooting for me.
We caught up with Nick when he had just maybe about 6 miles, I think, left to go. It was clear that he was going to get this thing done.
I think I was passed by just about everybody, so that's good. But I'm at the point where I can't really feel my legs right now, and it's just maintaining sugar and water. I expected to feel a whole lot worse. I mean, awesome. I definitely feel like I've been ground into the dirt and then some. It kind of dawned on me this last little downhill. I was like, I think I'm actually going to make it and do the whole thing.
Holy shit.
And for somebody who, before this January, had never run longer than 7 miles, that's kind of cool. I mean, I'd never done a group trail run up until this event. No matter when, whether it's their first or not, has just been commenting on how insane it is and just what a beast it is. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty accomplished just to make it this far.
Megan actually tends to get some big name racers.
Silky Coaster, Ryan Smith is her husband, and he was actually going for the win today.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he won Quad Rock
right
and set a course record a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Ryan Lassen, who runs for Solomon and is a RAD sponsored athlete.
Yeah. Nice.
Timmy.
Tim Olsen.
And Jason Schlarb.
So it's just a lot of good local runners.
It's a big field. Yeah.
So guys like Chris Vargo, the guy's sponsored by Nike. When he went last year to race at the Dirty 30, he had placed 5th in an international race. So, you know, really big deal. Athlete was trying to break the course record.
Andrew Varga.
All right, and tell me what just happened.
Chris just came in about a minute ago and ate 3 and he's looking strong and running good. Looks good. So,
yeah. And how you feel? I mean, is that pretty exciting?
Oh yeah, I was just telling Becca here that I get really nervous when I crew for him, and I just want him to do well, and seeing him do well is awesome.
And your sister's also running?
My soon-to-be sister-in-law.
Oh, soon-to-be sister-in-law.
Chris's fiance.
Right
yes,
on.
Alicia, and she was winning the women's at Aid 2. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, so crewing for her also.
Well, this is an exciting day for the whole fam.
Yeah.
He was going to try to do it in like 4 hours and 36 minutes. And that's where, you know, things get kind of real when you think about competitive runners.
Sisu! Nice job!
What'd you think of that last hill? I love it. Good job, atta girl. Let's start to the left. Downhill, you got just over a mile to the finish.
So I headed out to the kind of the most infamous part of the course, Windy Peak. It's one of the steepest, longest climbs of the course, and it comes, right at the end of the race. So it's a real soul crusher for folks.
That Windy Peak, that's a pile of shit. We've also had Windy Peak. That's the most terrible part of this course. I'm Ben Reeves, and I run for the Runners Roost Mountain Ultra team.
Yeah.
But I like helping out with these races just because I love seeing everybody out in the element that I enjoy. So. Yeah. You're actually smiling, so I'm curious what you thought of that last hill.
Great, so fun. Probably the highlight, actually.
Atta girl, good job. I love it.
Once they get over it, they know they are in the home stretch.
Welcome back.
Where's my piggyback ride?
Piggyback ride. Hey, Chris, what'd you think about that last hill?
Oh, it was awesome.
You're awesome. A little over a mile, buddy. Give him a strong finish.
After hours of getting infected by the excitement that is Dirty 30 from all the spectators, volunteers, and even racers themselves, You know what? I decided to strap up my chacos despite the splint that was on my toe and the pain I was feeling, and see if I could experience at least the finish for myself.
Chris Vargo did get his course record. So Chris Vargo just came over and got a course record on the 30-mile course.
Chris Vargo.
Yeah, and you just broke the course record on the 30-mile?
On the new course, yeah. I have it on the other one too.
We saw you come through one of the aid stations. How was it out there?
It's good. It's beautiful. It's an awesome course.
Wow.
It's hard though. Yeah, it's hard.
Was it hotter this year?
It was definitely a lot hotter than when I ran it in 2013. Yeah.
And our first place winner today, Mr. Chris Vargo from Flagstaff, Arizona, 4 hours, 30 minutes, and 48 seconds. Alicia Shea broke the women's course record by 16 minutes.
And Jen, who I ran into earlier, well, she got her Best Blood Award as well.
Congratulations, Jen. Thanks for playing.
Caught up with Peggy Emick with a local running group here called Front Range Cross Country, and she'd kind of been talked into doing this on a lark. And here's her after the race.
My name is Peggy Emsch. I didn't train for a 50K. I mean, my longest runs are like 13 miles.
Yeah.
And I run in the hills for the last couple of months.
Yeah.
But generally, I rode in road races. That's what I like. It was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I was like, fine, I'll run a 50K. So I wanted to get this over with. So I ran the first one that was coming up, and that was this one. And it's brutal.
Sitting in the freezing cold river with an ice cold beer, washing off the dirt. We're just talking about how hard the course was and how hot it was today, and we're just enjoying being done.
Has beer ever tasted this good?
This is about as good as it gets. Yeah, this is at the top of the scale right here.
Witnessed the Dirty 30. I ran a little bit. I experienced at least the finish, what it would be like, what it's going to be like on June 3rd, 2017, because there's a whole group of us going out, and I'm going to tackle it. Some advice that I've picked up kind of along the way is know what kind of runner you are. Are you really trying to dial in the time, or are you there for the experience? Because that can really dictate a lot. When all else being equal, don't pay attention so much to the time, is more just kind of the experience and doing it with other people and kind of enjoying the views as well. No matter who you are along the course, whether you're kind of the elite athlete or the person that's going to take 10 hours or somewhere in between, if it's your first or your fifth or your 10th, if you're a volunteer that's just at an aid station, supporting your fellow runners, if you're a high schooler there to kind of support a race that benefits your school, everybody kind of gets to experience the same thing. They get to experience, people achieving big goals and having fun doing it. And I think that's kind of at the end of the day what people seek these races out for.
The whole community here and everything, the trail scene is just awesome. Like positive vibes, everybody's just like getting along, and before the race even started, I could tell I was already gonna love it.
For those interested in checking out details of this year's race on June 3rd, go to dirty30.org. That's dirty, the numbers 30.org, where you can find information about registration. We're told that Megan may be cutting off the registration any day now for the 30-mile course, and for the 12-mile course it is already sold out. And Megan also is looking for more volunteers. You can go to the website, check out the volunteers tab on the website, and sign up that way. And if you wanted to check out another one of Megan's races, later in the year on September 23rd, she'll be hosting the Silverton Double Dirty 30. It's got the 60-mile version, which is 100K, and it also has a shorter 35-mile version. You can find details at the same website, dirty30.org. This has been another Dispatch Radio production. A big thanks to our producer, Robin Shipton, and also to Tony Monreal, who did us proud at last year's race. We'll be seeing you out there this year, June 3rd.